Yes. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Football Inc. It's just me today. Unfortunately, Sean's still not too well. He hopes to be back with us very shortly. Don't know how shortly is, but soon. And he sends his regards, and he's sent me his score predictions for today's, for the weekend's games. Doesn't want to lose any momentum. Still thinks he's winning this one hands down, but I'm sure everyone in the chat will have something to say about that. And I'll get someone to come in soon and decide who's going to play the game for us. But listen, guys, you know what to do. If you're just in for the chat, please hit the like and hit the subscribe button, guys. And if you're listening on audio, please hit the follow button. And we're on Spotify and we're on Apple. So that'd be great. I'll do the predictions. Perfect, Art. We'll come on to those later. So hang around in the show. We're going to do a few of the other bits and pieces beforehand, and then Art, fantastic to do the predictions. And a big shout out to our sponsor. That's OK Jersey. If you want the latest in football and sporting apparel, all sorts of sports, then get on down to OK Jersey, where great quality and great prices. And if you use the code FINC at OK Jersey, you will get a further 8% back. Guys, if you missed it earlier, I did the Champions League watch along. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're probably dancing up and down the street, because Arsenal are now favourites to win the Champions League. They're definitely favourites to go on and get to the final. And hardly surprising when they got drawn. They could have got Bayer Leverkusen, or they could have got Atalanta. Had they got Atalanta, they'd have been in the side of the draw with all the big boys. But instead, they're in the weak side of the draw. So should they win, should they beat Bayer Leverkusen, which I think should be a walk in the park, they will meet either Bodo Glimt or Sporting. I'd love it to be Bodo Glimt. I really would. Can you imagine that? Bodo Glimt versus Arsenal. Arsenal strolling in like it's nothing easy. The other clubs struggle. We won't struggle. And beat them. Listen, pipe dream. The other side of the draw, Newcastle got a tough one. They've got Barcelona in the first leg, and should they beat Barcelona, or if Barcelona should beat them, they will face either Spurs versus Atletico Madrid. Tough one. But I personally am glad we didn't get Galatasaray, because if by some miracle, we are to proceed in this competition, I think our chances in the other half of the draw, we would have been in deep trouble. Just to let you know, the teams on the other side of the draw were, I'm going to just get them up. Paris Saint-Germain versus Chelsea, Galatasaray versus Liverpool, could have been us, Real Madrid versus Manchester City, and Atalanta versus Bayern Munich. So that side of the draw is literally getting rid of all the big teams to leave the only two big teams, really. And I'm not going to include anyone other than Arsenal on form at the moment, Arsenal and Barcelona. There's no one really. Leverkusen, Sporting, Bodo, Spurs, Atletico and Newcastle. So for me, Arsenal, cakewalk. They seem to have their name on every single cup. They're playing in the league, which has handed them the league more or less this season, where no one's actually making a charge. They're in the FA Cup, where they've played absolutely no one. Portsmouth, Mansfield, and now they've got this run in the Champions League, and they're in the final. Surely not, guys. It's bad enough. It's going to be bad enough having to deal with Arsenal winning a trophy. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oy, oy, oy. Could you imagine them actually winning more than one? But let's hope that this is the truth, because everyone's favourite team at the moment is Bodo Glimt. And obviously Sean and I's favourite. We were there last year. I'd have loved to have played them in the next round had we beaten Atletico. But trip to Barcelona or Newcastle awaits should we beat them. But Spurs fans know what's coming. We're playing Atletico Madrid. So who do you think we're going to be getting? Who do you think is going to be banging in a goal? You can almost put your money on that Adamada Lookman is going to be there. You didn't want me? You didn't want to pay me the money? That's what they're saying. Spurs, according to the Sun. Spurs didn't want to pay them the money, and no doubt he'll get his retribution from that. Conor Gallagher will get a chance to go back and show them what he's missing. By what we've seen at the moment as a Spurs shirt, not very much. Newcastle have already played Barcelona. They did well in one of the legs at home. They gave them a good game, but I think it's the one. I think it's the one that they've got to win. If they can take a good result at home, get a good result, and then go to Barca in the second leg, maybe they'll have a chance. But the season's a nightmare. Yeah, listen, John, the season's an absolute nightmare, and it's going to be an even more of a nightmare should we end up being in a scenario where Arsenal end up winning a trophy. I can't think of a worst case scenario, to be truthful with you. I really can't. But listen, worse things have happened. Not many, but a few. Guys, I just wanted to talk about something else that's going on, right? The meeting that's going on between the Refs Association and the league and everybody about cutting out time wasting. We've seen this season the amount of times there's been the long throw and they get the towel out and they throw the towel. I don't personally have a problem with it, honestly. But they want to eradicate it. They want to cut that down to 5 seconds and get rid of long throws. They want to get rid of goalkeepers taking too long to hit the ball. Free kicks, substitutions. Cut this, cut that. I get it. But how about cutting the one bloody thing that is causing all the fucking delays every single game and wasting my time, the fans' time, is VAR. Poor refereeing, VAR. That's what's destroying football. Not an extra 3 seconds on a throw-in. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think about it in the chat, because I'm had enough of it. I've had enough of it. Why can't they not concentrate on the things that are damaging football? Why not concentrate on sorting out your VAR? Why is it that 1 week you'll draw a line there that's X amount of thickness, and then the next week you don't? Or it's not quite in line, or there's been a screw up, or someone jumps up and down, jumps up in the air and accidentally lands on the back of someone's ankle and you send them off. Like a Lloyd Kelly. I know that happened in the Champions League. Or when Gabriel done his swan dive the other day, right? No VAR. Why was there no VAR? It was obviously a contentious issue. You could see it was. Maybe the referee was wrong. No, straight away, 2 seconds it took to make that decision. The Forest game with McAllister's goal. Now, that goal, whilst it helped Spurs and didn't help Forest, that decision, which in my opinion was wrong, it looks like it was wrong, that could cost Nottingham Forest next season a place in the Premier League. If it's at their expense over ours, great. End of last season, we saw an atrocious decision that cost Aston Villa a place in the Champions League. But it's happening every week. And the decisions and the time it's taken. I mean, last week, I keep wanting to go back to the North London derby. What happened when the guys' communications went down? Why didn't they just say, guys, fuck it, we got our flags, I got my whistle. That's how it's operated since the late 1800s. Whistle and a flag, right? That's it. That's how it's always operated. Until, we had the radio communications and everything's getting that fancy. And now they've got the camera on the referee and everyone's liking it mic'd up. Forget the fancy crap. Let's sort the basics out. Let's find referees who can referee and stop being lazy and leaving it to VAR. And let's get the guys in the VAR room who just sit there eating sandwiches on their fat asses doing nothing until they're called upon. And half the stuff they bloody miss. I don't get it. They want to intervene more on a second yellow card. They want to give them more work to do. But let's get back to basics, for God's sake. It's just pissing me off. And they're like, they're having these meetings now. What difference if a throw-in is 5 seconds or 10 seconds? That's not where it's going. It isn't. Like doing the towel, okay. But you want to do... cut it down so much so that no one can do a long throw-in. What it would mean is if your thrower is a left back and the ball's up on the other side of the pitch, he hasn't got enough time to run from his position, get hold of the ball and make the throw. Why? What difference? What difference? That is not where it is. Pen and paper are dead. Yeah, they are dead. But listen, look, I know pen and paper are dead. Could justify VAR if they got it right. They waste minutes looking for. But yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. The semi-automated offside is meant to help all of this, but there's no consistency. There's no consistency with a handball. Hits him on his elbow. It's a penalty. Hits him here, part of his elbow. It is a penalty. The thickness of the lines. It's got to be consistent, and I don't feel it is. It really isn't. We see pushing every week in on a corner, pushing and shoving. Nothing gets done. And then we see that cross come in, and he's done an artistic dive. And then you look at the one from Calvin Bassey, was by, I'm trying to think who it was, that Yoro, was it Leonard Yoro from Man United? A clear double push. I mean, Calvin Bassey is a huge unit, right? He's gone way before he's even got up, and then he's gone up. He didn't even get a chance to jump. And then you saw obviously the other one, Christian Romero, as the one that he did in his back that didn't get called. So we're just looking for consistency. Yes, I'm going to go for it, Richie Rotten. I'm going to go for that in a minute. That's the next up. Get ready for that. Let's get ready for that. Let's see. We need VAR, but we can't be overly reliant on it. I totally get it. I totally get it. And I agree with it. VAR, the concept of VAR, I don't have a problem with, because we have situations where referees are human. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And sometimes he hasn't spotted the mistake, and that can be massive. But we have just gone into the minutiae, right, of certain things that happen in games, which they shouldn't be getting involved in. And then there's things that they should, that they haven't been. And the diving, what I want to see, and I'm not going to make this all about Arsenal, but Arsenal, man, they're dark arts. You got to hand it to them. They know how to manipulate the referees for them, for free kicks, getting it chalked off, not getting booked. The numbers say that Arsenal are top. I think they're now joint top with Man United, but they're top 7.8 fouls per game before they get a yellow card. Guess who's bottom? Yeah, that's right, Spurs, 4.5. Now, good luck to Arsenal if they know how to manipulate it. But they were down with me on the touchline, and it's not just them, but it's other clubs as well. But they are the masters of it, screaming. Like, if I heard my kids screaming like that, I'd be running out the door thinking, what the hell's gone on? Saka. How many times does Saka go down just being touched? Jed Spence went like that on someone's, like, he went like that. The guy's gone down like a sack of potatoes. And another incident, he's trying to shield the ball. They're grabbing his jersey. They're pulling him. They're slapping him. They throw him on the ground. No foul. Walk off. Got to be consistent. That is the problem. And unfortunately, this meeting that they're having will come out with another load of bullshit. And why are you doing it with 11 games to go in the Premier League? Forget it. Start doing it next season. What happened to the 8-second rule, where a goalkeeper can't hold on to the ball for the 8 seconds? The only time I saw it, I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 times all season. The first one was Spurs at Burnley, Nick Pope holding on to the ball, first game of the season. But I've seen they're holding on to the ball for longer than 8 seconds, and the fans are whistling, and nothing gets done. Honestly, you might say it has pissed me off. I prefer just goal line technology. Yeah, do you remember that one? Pedro Mendes goal at Old Trafford. Listen, look, there's been lots of incidences of it, which is why VAR was brought in. And like I said, yeah. Oh, Arsenal, good team, established club, awful fan base. Listen, they're going to be intolerable when they start winning stuff. They really are. I mean, honestly. Oh, Dubravka, sorry. Yes, Alfie. Beg your pardon, mate. Yeah. Dubravka. Yeah, it was pretty shocking. Right, guys, let's talk about Scott Munn. It's obviously time to throw Spurs under the bus. Any which way you lose. Now, I particularly hated Scott Munn. He'd come from a cycling background, had been working with the City Group in Australia. He had no experience of working with the Premier League. Anyway, he's made some comments to 360 Australia. I'll read some of them out to you, and let's see where we go from there. Has Scott Munn on Spurs sacking Postecoglou, and are there deep problems at the club? Of course, he was nothing to do with the deep problems at the club, right? Nothing, just like others. History shows it has been 17 managers. Look, I'm not saying some of the stuff isn't true. History shows it has been 17 managers in 20 years or something. For me, it's about actions along with the results. If you're with a club and you don't win anything, then that's a pretty important measure. I remember a Man City board meeting. We, Manchester City, had finished second in the Premier League that year. And chairman, Khalidou Al-Mubarak, started the meeting by saying this wasn't acceptable. And that was installed in everything we do at the club. Well, they were actually spending fortunes as well and had spent untold sums of money, but never mind. I didn't have the same feeling as Spurs. At that level, the margin for error is so small that culture and mentality can be the difference between 3 points on a Saturday. There were 2 significant games for me at Spurs. One was against Chelsea when we went down to 9 men and we kept chasing the game. Vicario was the halfway line acting as a sweeper. Even though we ended up losing the game, we felt that was how we wanted to play. Really? What, kamikaze football? The second one was the Manchester City game. The sentiment for the fans indicating that they preferred to lose the game to ensure Arsenal didn't win the league. I couldn't get my head round that. I get the fan rivalry, but when you work in football and don't want to win, I can't understand that, or any club who has that mentality. Yeah, so basically, he's saying the culture was all wrong. Tell us something we don't know. But come on. I mean, you can compare Manchester City. Come on, mate. I mean, what was your experience in football? Another nobody, right? What was your experience? Your experience was to appoint Johan Lang. And this is another one. Scott Munn at this time at Spurs. I learned a lot professionally and I made amazing friends. I didn't know Ange previously or his staff on the field, but the key metrics there, that were fifth in the first year after finishing eighth the season before. The second year, we won the club's first trophy in 20 years and we qualified for the Champions League. On those measures, you'd say we'd done a pretty good job. We all understand that the Premier League performance wasn't good enough, but we had to make a decision on what outcome was better for us. A high Premier League finish or to put all our efforts into success in Europe. And we did that. Come off it. Like, what sort of shitty narrative is that? If you were in the same situation as you are now, where we are on the brink and only 4 points clear, then you couldn't make that decision. You couldn't say that. But because in that season, the three clubs were so far adrift, it wouldn't have mattered if we'd lost nearly all of our games. Bearing in mind, we were the first club to ever lose 22 league games in a season and not get relegated. And here's another one, right? Throwing someone else under the bus. Scott Munn on the club's injury crisis last season. And he did head up the departure of long-serving head coach Jeff Scott. Now, Jeff Scott had been at Spurs for over 20 years. He was the guy that had an argument with Ange Postecoglou, telling Ange that this system that he's playing and the recovery runs constantly was unsustainable and we were going to have terrible injuries. Ange says, don't believe it, not interested in it. And they ended up having this fight and Jeff Scott left, okay? He's put, we did a review into every department, the academy, medicine, everything. So yes, that happened. We wanted to come through with a number of changes and take the medical department to a level that equated to a big club in England. Unfortunately, we couldn't make the changes we recommended. Some parts were accepted and other parts weren't. So it's nothing to do with him. It's just the board, right? He got rid of Jeff Scott with Ange Postecoglou, right? This was not an optimal outcome. If you look at this year's injury position, not much has changed. You need to look at it in totality, and there's many parts of this. But yes, okay, I might wear that accusation. Let me tell you, the reason why we've still got this situation is because there was so many gaping holes, so many people left. We were still putting people in place in the medical place just a month ago, right? Who are now probably going to leave. But the whole thing is a joke, right? Because there's too many cooks. Someone should have asked him, right, why the club have let the like of Sam Edith and Wayne Diesel leave the club, right? So Sam Edith left to go to the City Group. He was there on performance. Then he went to the NBA for 2 years. Then he came back to Manchester United, and he is now heading Manchester United's performance team. So to say we didn't have the people there and you were trying to improve them, give me a break. That's absolute bullshit. We had the people there. You fucking drove them out, right? The other person, Wayne Diesel, right? He left under Scott Munn and went on to be head player at head coach of performance at the Miami Dolphins. Meanwhile, Jeff Scott is now employed by Nottingham Forest. Have you looked at Nottingham Forest's injury crisis? They don't have one. They don't have one. We have the crisis. I mean, this guy, the sound bites. Let me see what some of you have got to say about this one. I mean, Munn is a charlatan. I 100%. Go back to your cycling, mate, because the bullshit you're feeding us fans, right? You want to come back after all this time after you've been booted out because the job you did was crap. And you appointed Johan Lang, who's doing a crap job, right? You didn't put the tools in place. You chased one of the guys out. You chased one of the guys out who went to the Miami Dolphins. Are the Miami Dolphins bigger than Tottenham Hotspur as an organisation? The hell, of course they are. Of course they are. And Jeff Scott hasn't had any trouble finding another job at Nottingham Forest. I mean, what are we doing here? No one noticed the fact that a guy's been there for 20 years. Where's the loyalty? We didn't have an injury crisis when he left. We've had an injury crisis since he's gone. There lies the freaking problem. There lies the problem. Mum was an expert in women's football, but our ladies are even better. Yeah, 100%. Look, isn't it not coincidence that our women's team have improved dramatically since the new guys come in? What's this, Eve Mo? He couldn't wrap her head around fans not wanting to win, but he didn't want to win league games. I mean, he's absolute hypocrite. Absolute hypocrite. The Europa League papered over the cracks. No shots on target and winning by an own goal. 100%. I mean, for me, I always say this to Sean. For me, I felt like what went on with that win in Bilbao, and let's be honest, we all loved it. It was an amazing night, and I'll take that victory till my dying days. But that was akin to putting a plaster on the San Andreas fault and bringing someone in and saying, nothing to see here, guys. It's perfect. Look at it. It's beautiful. And you put your foot on that plaster and you sink right through. And that's what's happened. That's what's happened. Okay. They took away Ange. There was no infrastructure. They took away Levy. He positioned himself in so much so into every aspect of that club that when you took him away, the whole house of cards come tumbling down. And this is where we are right now. This is where we are right now. I mean, look, the medical situation is an absolute farce. And it was not in that situation when Scott Munn arrived. So how fucking dare you? How dare you come in here and start going on about, you needed to improve it. You killed it. You killed it. You got rid of Jeff Scott and you got rid of Diesel. The two people that could have helped you in this situation, right? What did we see? We saw advertisements on LinkedIn for jobs in the medical department. Huh? What do they say? No experience necessary. Come on down, get a job at White Hart Lane. We're looking for some people, maybe a masseuse. I mean, I honestly, I'm fuming at that. I mean, look, it was bad enough. Look, for me, I feel it's like this. The reason why I'm so pissed off about it is when you got a wounded animal and it's lying down, helpless, do you really want to go and, are you that person that would go and stick their boot to finish them off? And that's what I feel like Ange and Scott Munn are doing here, right? I thank Ange for giving us that win in the final. No problem at all. But, it's unnecessary. Accept some responsibility. Accept your own responsibility in the demise. If you did your job properly, you would still be in the job. It's as simple as that. Success begets success. But unfortunately, it was failure. Yeah, I accept that the Bilbao was a success. But on the whole, over the last 18 months and a half years, we're going backwards. We are going backwards, and we are where we are right now because we deserve to be where we are right now. Medical team not good enough. The hierarchy not good enough. Recruitment not good enough. Players not good enough. And the suffering people are the fans. Tottenham medical team has been called out for years, even with Jeff. Listen, just some Joe. I hear what you're saying, but it was, let's have some perspective here. You will always have people calling out about injuries, but never to the extent of what it's been like over the last 2 and a bit years. Sorry, mate. Everyone's entitled to opinion. 100%. You took the money, take the responsibility. 100%. Look, I don't want to be calling people out, but when you want to come on in our moment of crisis and you want to start calling us out and saying, look, they ain't got a clue what they're doing. Medical plan. I try to help them. Their mentality's wrong. I tried to help the medical department. They didn't listen to me. Right? They didn't listen to all I wanted to do. Right? Oh, which bits did they cherry pick? The only bits that were good that you said to use. Right? No, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. Your women's team went backwards. In fact, they were one away from being relegated. Do me a favour, right? This is all very interesting, but how does it help us to avoid relegation? Tell me what Tudor can do with the players we have to get results. I'm not interested in performance or other debates. Listen, Rudolph, right? Content has to content, right? Okay. Was this planned to talk about this today? No. We'll be talking about the games and the game on the weekend for sure. But the reason why this has come up, because it's come up in the press. And so it would be a miss not to talk about it. What we can do is we can talk about the fact that a certain YouTuber has been called out apparently for posting about Mickey van der Ven, a Tudor not listening to Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven not listening to Tudor. And it was all over the press. Mickey van der Ven got a hard time over it. And Tudor was asked, and he said, absolute nonsense. I was talking to the whole defensive unit. So certain things can get misconstrued. But, you might not like to listen to that. But unfortunately, that's part of it. What are one's qualities for head of football? I really don't know. I really don't know. So let's see. Where's Lord Butler? Lord Butler is not well, Daniel. Hopefully he will be back soon enough. Hopefully. We really need Clinton and Jay. Let's do a couple of quick transfer stories. And then I would do the predicciones. Let's see. This one's going to make you laugh, right? While we're on Spurs, okay? A certain Spurs star, I can't even say it with a straight face. A certain Spurs star has been linked with Real Madrid. Can you guess who it is? £55 million in the chat. Can you guess who it is? Let's have some predictions. Who has been linked with Real Madrid in a summer deal for £55 million? No, not Romero. No, not Mickey van der Ven. No. I said you're going to laugh. Okay. And he's got it right. Free speech. Yes, guys. Unbelievable. Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Archie Gray is reportedly a target for Real Madrid, according to Tribuna. The player will cost around 60 million euros, and Tottenham would be open to negotiating the departure of the former Leeds ace if their asking price is met. The 19-year-old is a phenomenal talent with a bright future. Would you sell him? I think Lubo will be out to, if Lubo hears this story, Lubo's making up those reports. Could you imagine if it actually happened? I think Lubo would go into meltdown. Very, very funny, that one. Not one I'm going to be taking seriously. One that I will take more seriously is the fact that Gabriel, Arsenal centre-back, is being linked with a move to Real Madrid. That's going to be big, big, big money. I can't see. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. That another player likely to be on the move, who's been a star since he moved from Manchester United to Napoli. Scott McTominay, become an absolute legend out there in Napoli. They've even got murals of him everywhere. Scott McTominay, £70 million to bring him to Newcastle. Was he disrespected? I think he was. When you think about how he performed for Manchester United, never got the credit. Then he started moving further forward for Scotland and scored some unbelievable goals. In fact, he's definitely got a mural in Scotland for the overhead kick that got the goal that got them through to the World Cup. 70 million, maybe a bit rich, but sometimes the name is what puts us off. If his name was Scott McTominay, maybe 70 million would have been well worth the money. But no, he's not going to get that by the looks of it. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Matthias Mane, the Wolverhampton Wanderers kid, who has really come into the Wolves team and really set them alight. I mean, obviously, no, they're not winning. Tough game tonight. But they are asking for £50 million. That's £50 million. I'm not sure where they're coming from with that one, but that's just that's mad money. That's just not going to happen. What else have we got here? Papa Gay is emerging as a top Manchester United target from Villarreal. Can't see that one happening. Liverpool as well linked with Matthias Mane as well as Manchester United. Chelsea linked with Murillo and Morgan Rogers. I think Murillo, if he's going to leave, you're looking at big money. Probably looking at about 70 million for that. Morgan Rogers, I can't see Villa letting anyone go for anything less than about 60-70 million pounds. I can't see that happening at all. So no, that one I'm not even going to entertain that one. Hang on one second, guys. Just trying to align my window. Here we go. 1 second. Oopsie daisy. Because right now I'm struggling to see everybody. There you go. Done. Okay, let's see what else we've got. There's a couple more. See what you're saying to us. The press is not going to help us avoid relegation. Definitely not. Right, guys, let's do the predictions. I've got Sean's prediction scores. Let's have a look here. What we've got. So now, who's going to do the predictions, guys? Need to see where is it? Art, I think it was. Let's see. Where are you? Art. Are you there, Art? Yeah, he's ready. Okay. So let's start with the first game. Art, let's see. The first game, big game tonight. I don't know if Wolves F1 is in the house, but Wolves versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa got a couple of players back. They had 4 out in the middle of the park. It did affect them for a couple of games. For me, Wolves are really difficult to beat now. Rob Edwards is doing a really good job. Obviously, they're prepping now for life in the Championship, and I think they're going about it in the right way. They're focusing on the performances, not always the results, even though they've got some cracking results. And I think that draw against Arsenal in their last home game will give them comfort. And I am going to go for, in this game, I'm going to go for even though this is, they need to get something, I think Villa desperately need it. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Villa win. Sean has gone for a 1-1 draw. Art, what have you gone for? Art, 3-1 Villa. Okay. 3-1 Villa. 1-3 Villa. Okay, next up, Bournemouth versus Sunderland. Sunderland have been struggling a bit. 9 wins, 9 draws, 9 defeats. That early start of the season has obviously kept them safe. They did fantastic, great purchasing in the summer for Sunderland. Xhaka has been an integral part of that, and no coincidence when he got injured, their form fell off a bit of a cliff, but they're more or less safe now. Bournemouth seem to be coming on to a bit of form at the moment. I really like Rayan. Again, they've had injuries, but they're doing well. Hill's walked in, gone in and done well in the defence. And there's a lot to like. For me, I think I'm quite confident here. I'm going for a 2-0 Bournemouth win over Sunderland. Sean's gone for a 2-1. And Art has gone for a Desmond Tutu. Interesting one there. Big one if you're a Spurs fan. Also, a big one if you're a Liverpool fan as well. But particularly if you're a West Ham fan or a Spurs fan, Liverpool really struggling at the moment. Let's make no bones about it. They were lucky against Forest. Could easily have been 0-0. They haven't been convincing at home against anyone. It always was Fortress, Anfield. I've never seen Spurs win at Anfield. I've seen us lose 7-0. I've seen us lose by all sorts of numbers. But this is not the same Liverpool team currently. West Ham, I think, unbeaten in 7 games, is it? 7 or 8 games. Really on a roll right now. And, do you fancy them doing something tonight on the weekend? Let's see some of the scores. Gary Ball 3-1 Spurs. Desmond 2-2. 2-2. Give us your scores, guys. Liverpool, West Ham. Liverpool, West Ham. Art, what are you saying here? 1-2 West Ham. Yeah. I think West Ham could actually do it. I mean, I definitely think that... let's see some other scores. 3-0 Liverpool, they will turn it on. They need to start turning it on if they're going to do anything in the Champions League. Yeah, I mean, Reese, you're 100% right. The next 4 fixtures are far more positive for Spurs and far less positive for West Ham. But we could have said that when we had our 4 easier fixtures and we didn't do anything. So for me, I've gone 2-1 Liverpool. Sean has gone 3-0 Liverpool. Art, what's Art gone? Haven't seen Art's score yet. Art, what's 2-1 Liverpool? Okay, fair enough. 2-1 Liverpool. Okay, on to the next one. Newcastle versus Everton. Newcastle tough at home. Everton, they're all over the place there. They win one, they lose one. It's just a hard one to call for me, but I think Newcastle, without Guimaraes, without them, he's not as good. He doesn't come back till April, as one of you guys in the chat said to me before. But I still think they should have too much for an Everton team, for this Everton team. And Newcastle, we know, are really good at home. Lots of conversations about Altamade, that he should be going in the summer. I think technically he's really good, but some are saying he's more of a midfielder than a striker. He's caught between a rock and a hard post at the moment. But let me know what scores. Reese has gone 1-1. I have gone Newcastle 2, Everton 0. Sean's gone for the same score. Art, what are you going for this one? Newcastle, Everton. Art, just waiting for his score. What's this? I'm partly a West Ham fan, as my 19-year-old nephew plays for them. Good on you. Great stuff. And so you should if your nephew's playing for them. So I'd like Forest to go down and Spurs and West Ham to stay up. Obviously, I don't want us to go down, but also don't want... Right, okay. Fair enough. I take it if he's 19, he's in the under-21s right now. Is he nearing first-team football? Let us know. Interesting stuff. Great stuff. Art, can't see your score for the... 1-2 Everton. Thank you. 1-2 to Everton. going against the grain. Next up, Burnley versus Brentford. Burnley chugging out some results. They've got some fantastic results. Brentford, really surprise loss at home. I never saw that one coming. Was it 2-0 against Brighton, who were desperate, couldn't find a win anywhere. Hertzler managed to get a result out of them. Burnley at home. I went for a 2-2 draw, and Sean went for a Brentford win. He thinks the form for them was a blip. Let's see some of the other guys' predictions. Art 2-1 Everton. Hang on, let's see some of the others. 2-2. Merida 2-2. You reckon for this one? Reese 2-1 Burnley. I think it's going to be a tough game for them. I definitely think it's going to be a tough game for Brentford. Art, where's your score, mate? Waiting for your score for this game. Burnley, Brentford. Where are you? Burnley, Brentford. Art's obviously given it a lot of thought. He's gone for a 0-0. An exciting game. If you're following Art's predictions, don't bother tuning into that one on IPTV. If you watch IPTV. Next one, a big one in the title race and a big one in the relegation race, although I feel that Leeds are going to be safe. Leeds' home form is what's keeping them, their heads well above water this season. I think they've only lost 3 games all season. Spurs were the first team to beat them in almost a year when we went there and beat them early part of the season. Aston Villa went there and beat them. But they are a tough team to beat. I can't see Manchester City rolling in this game and just smashing them out of the park. But I do believe that Manchester City will win. I've gone for a 3-1 win. And my caveat, although I said it won't smash them out of the park, I think that will be a late goal for City to put the game to bed. Is Rodri coming into his form just at the right time? The thing that worries me now is not only have Arsenal got an incredible draw in the Champions League, it will mean that they will almost be able to rest players in that tournament, therefore resting them to play in the Premier League. Manchester United do not have, Manchester City do not have that luxury. 2 legs against Real Madrid, and then if you beat them, look at the teams they've got to face. There is no respite unless they turn around and say, you know what, we'll give up the Champions League to concentrate on winning the title. I don't know, but that's going to be a tough ask to combine the two with the fixtures they've got. So where are we? So I've gone 3-1. Sean's also gone 3-1. Didn't realise he got the same score as me. Art, what have you gone? Look here, 3-2. I'm looking. 3-2 to Leeds. Brave man. If you get it right this week, Art, the chat's going to thank you because you'll be closing right up on everybody. 2-2, 2-0 City, 2-1 City. I think most people think City. You know, it wouldn't have shocked me, Art, if you'd have said a draw, but I can't see Leeds winning. But stranger things have happened in this season. Next one, Brighton versus Forest. Brighton, who needed that win, but otherwise they were going to get dragged into it. At home against the Forest team, who somehow beat a very good Fenerbahce last week, 3-0, but struggled yesterday. Will that game on Thursday give them struggles? Will they be tired? We all know that playing on a Thursday and then coming to play on a Sunday is a tough ask. I can't even remember what score I went for, actually, at the end of it. I went for a Brighton win. I went for Brighton 2, Forest 1, and the sun's come out and blinding me. I went for 2-1 Brighton. And Sean has gone 2-0 for Brighton. So both of us thinking that Forest could be in doggy do with this one. Let me see. Art. Oh, Art, were you going 3-2 City? Sorry. Okay, beg your pardon. Well, I thought you'd had a hemorrhage. Right, I'll change that. I'll change that. 2-3. When you said look here, I'm thinking you're making a statement. I've got it. Art. And he's gone 2-2 for the Brighton Forest game. Right. Here's the big one for Spurs fans trying to avoid relegation. We haven't won in our last 4 games playing Fulham. In fact, I can't remember when the last time we beat Fulham, actually. And they haven't lost to anyone in the bottom 5 this season. So the signs aren't good for where we are at the moment. Wilson is playing fantastic. They've got most of their players back. Raul Jimenez is back on form. He's showing the form that he had before he got that horrific head injury, which put him out for such a long time. And it's going to be a tough game, guys. Honestly, what can Tudor do? Pedro Porro is back. Danso and his magic swollen toe are also back. If Danso is back and he's playable, obviously for me, I'd put him into the back 3 and push Paulinho into the middle of the park. And that would enable Pedro Porro to play right wing back and whip some balls in. I just think it's going to be a tough ask. Paulinho, will he get a good reception going back to his old club, Fulham, where he had such a fantastic career? Saying all of this and all the negative aspects of this game, I'm going to go for a 2-1, delusional 2-1 win for Spurs to alleviate some of the pressure. 2-1. Let's see what Sean, the hitman Butler, has gone. He's gone for 1-1. So, he's positive, reasonably positive. Art, let's see some of these. Art has got a sneaky suspicion. 2-1, Super Tottenham. Man after my own heart, Art. Let's see some of the other scores here. 2-1, 3-1 Fulham. Daniel's going 1-1. Reese going 1-1. 3-1 Spurs, Gary. That's confidence for you. What's this? Falls 1. Falls 1, Spurs 2. Here we go. Right. So look, I took a lot of stick for this, and rightly so. I thought Randall Kolo Muani was going to be a fantastic signing. I wanted us to sign him before he went to Juventus. Okay, in that January last year, and I thought this guy was going to be fantastic. I was so excited when he was coming because I followed him since he was at Frankfurt and then at PSG, the World Cup for France, Juventus. I thought finally a quality player. The guy that's turned up has been a bloody imposter. I thought it was maybe an AI version of him and they forgot to put the legs and the football in. It was just the body version that we got. And then Igor Tudor turned up. And if it hadn't been for the swan dive from Gabriel, he would have had 2 goals. I'm hoping this guy starts to turn it on. I believe he's the way out for us up front. He has that quality that can lift this team. And I think Tudor's the one who knows how to unlock it. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. Let's have a look. Muani's better finished than Dom. Yeah, I totally agree. With Porro back, we will make the difference. Vulnerable at the back, but at least we can deliver decent crosses. I totally agree. Yeah, look, Rob Plan, I agree with you. But when the trouble is, when you're a YouTuber or you're on socials and you put your neck on the block, look, I could be vanilla all day long and just sit on the middle, get splinters in my backside all day long and not put my head on the block. But I tend to say what I feel and stick to it. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. But I agree, Rob. He didn't get much service, and but he is culpable as well. There were moments where he looked like he couldn't be asked anymore, and that's not a good look. I won't accept that from any player, even one that I really like. So I think let's see how he goes. But if he can deliver some performances, all will be forgiven. If he can deliver in these next 11 games and put in some performances in the Champions League, all that went before will be forgotten. I have no doubt. Oh, ye fickle fans. That's us, right? Okay, next game. United versus Crystal Palace. Carrick's doing a fantastic job. They're still not committing to giving him the job. Interesting. I thought they might have committed by now, but no, they're going to make I don't know what they're going to do, the board, but I think, he's ingrained at Manchester United, played under Fergie, understands Fergie's way. He did do a good job at Middlesbrough. I actually thought that Onigola Solskjaer would get the job over him because of his experience of being at United. But they went with Carrick, and you can't knock it. You can't knock it. There was a team under Amorim restricted by a system, and now they're playing with freedom. They're shooting from outside the box. Thomas Frank, take note. And Bueno, Cunha, they're all looking different. And look at Sesko. I mean, Sesko's suddenly on fire, and Sesko's now looking like maybe one of the better deals that they've done. They got rid of Højlund on loan. We'll see how that one goes. But United v Palace, I've gone for a United comfortable win against the Palace team who played in the week, and I think they're floating around at the moment. They're just kicking time until the end of the season. Try and get the odd result, but try to win the Conference League, which will be huge for them, because if they win the Conference League, that gets them into Europe again next season, into the Europa League, and we all know what happens if you win the Europa League. So I went 3-1. Sean's gone 2-1 Manchester United, and Art's gone 1-1. Interesting. Art has gone 1-1. Listen, I'm not saying they're special, but I think they've improved. I mean, look, you can't deny they have improved. They're, look where they are in the table. But we'll have to wait and see with that one. I like this one. Sesko looking like prime Goalscorer. Listen, those two bangers that he scored against us. I was like, can't score a goal? Play Spurs, right? Your team can't score a goal? Play Spurs. Can't win a game? Come and play Spurs. Dr. Tottenham will always be there. Guys, if you're in the chat, please hit the like button. Helps the algorithm, helps the channel grow. We're over 6,000 now, thanks to you guys. Couldn't do it without you. And please hit the subscribe button if you're here for the first time. Please tell us who you support and whereabouts you are. We've got people from all over the world that watch this show, and very much appreciate it. Just got a super chat, super sticker here from Ulrika Kakaka. Thanks very much, Ulrika. Don't forget to get out the bath, dry your bits. We got a Chardonnay. Are you on the Chardonnay, or are you on the I'm not sure what you're on today. Are you on the Chardonnay or on the let's see what you're on. Hang on. Are you on the Chardonnay or are you on the G&T? We'll have to see. Everything good. Everything good. I take Sesko 100%. And now the last game, probably the biggest game. Well, not probably, it is the biggest game of the weekend. Are Chelsea capable of finally denting Arsenal? Arsenal will be no doubt buoyed by that performance against us. But I didn't think they were special. I just thought we were poor. And had that goal gone in and we'd gone 2-2, the crowd behind us, the Gabriel pull down on Muani when he was clear on goal. The Richarlison ball that went through Raya's legs, and he done an unbelievable safety twist round and literally stop it from millimetres. These were all factors that maybe had made it more challenging game. But what we do know is that score flattered Arsenal in the sense they had more of the game. They were the better team. I'm not saying that for 1 minute. I'm just saying sometimes you can be the better team and not get the result, right? That's what I mean. But Arsenal playing Chelsea tomorrow, the PE teacher, what can he do? I'm not sure if Esteval is back tomorrow. Esteval was a player that really hurt Arsenal in the first leg. Second leg, he couldn't play. He had a family thing, had to go back, and he sort of came in off the bench, but the game was gone by there. I think this is going to be a tough one for Arsenal to beat, for Chelsea to beat Arsenal, if I'm brutally honest. I've gone for an Arsenal 2-1 win, as much as it pains me. And Sean has gone for a 1-0 win. So, Art, what do you fancy? Let's see. Art, is that a 2-2 in this game? Yeah, 2-2 in the Arsenal game. Okay. A 2-2 would really do Arsenal. I mean, it would hurt them. It wouldn't kill them, but it would definitely hurt them. Let's see some of the other scores. 3-1. Gary's gone 2-2. Daniel Phil being brave, 3-2. Your lips to my ears, or your typing to my ears, should I say. Right, let's go for the goal scorers, right? Let's see all the ones that you can't have. Excuse me, 1 second. Let me find the ones that you can't have. Excuse me, sorry. Sean sent it to me, the spreadsheet, so I could check it out. Let's open it up. Okay, so I will tell you what the chat can't have as far as goal scorers. Okay, are you listening, Art? You can't have Salah, Richarlison, Rice, Kudus, Grealish, Haaland, Walter Marde, Gapco, Rodgers, Bowen, Odegaard, probably they chose that one, Foden, Thiago, Barnes, Saka, Cherky, Ekitike, Cunha, Bruno Guimaraes, Xavi, Fernandes, or Buemo, Wilson, Buendia, or Rayan. So give me one of those. Sean has gone for Brian and Buemo. Meatball, is that your choice? Is it Havertz? Havertz nailed on. He's put, yeah. What are you going to choose, Art? I'm going to go for Sesko. Art's going for Kolo Muani. I think that's a good call, mate. I can't complain about that. I think that's a good call. Let me see if there's any more news. Guys, while you're in the chat, please hit the like button. As I said, it helps the algorithm grow. Tell me something, guys. Have you noticed? I don't know why it is, but it used to be Fortress Home. And I was looking at this and I thought it's just Spurs who seem to suffer from home form. But no, it's not. More and more clubs. Chelsea are struggling at home. There are many clubs that seem to be struggling. Look at Liverpool. When do clubs go to Liverpool and start winning away from home? And apparently on the stats this season, and I was looking into it, more and more clubs are winning away from home. And I wonder what it is. Is it the crowds are more fickle? Is it too many corporate hospitality people? The atmosphere is dead. I don't know what it is. I mean, Spurs have won 2 games at home this season. And bear this in mind, We've won one game since August the 16th. One. Since August the 16th. I mean, that's just insane. That's insane numbers. I mean, the crazy thing is the only thing that's keeping us up is our away form. And I was also looking at another thing before we go, right? Because there was another thing I wanted to talk to you about. And that is the clubs that have gone down. People say, you know, too big to go down. There's no such thing as too big to go down, ever. I will read you out the West Ham team that went down 2002 to 2003. Okay, listen to this: Jermaine Defoe, Paolo Di Canio, Trevor Sinclair, Steve Lomas, Michael Carrick, Joe Cole, Glenn Johnson, Repka, Pierce, Nigel Winterburn, and David James in goal. That team shouldn't have gone down. How did that team go down? And then the Newcastle team. You guys, Sniffer and the likes of you, the Newcastle boys in the chat, you'll remember this one. 2009. Michael Owen, Obafemi Martins, Jonas Gutierrez, Nicky Butt, Damien Duff, Stephen Taylor, Colaccini, Basong, Jose Enrique, and Shay Given in goal. And then most recently, I would say probably, would be Leicester, having won the title. They go down with a team of Jamie Vardy, Harvey Barnes, Yuri Tielemans, James Maddison, Boubacar Samari, Dewsbury Hall, Luke Thomas, Johnny Evans, Timothy Castagna, Wout Fuss, who's still there, and Danny Ward. And when you look at that midfield, for example, what's the combined sales value of Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, Maddison, and Dewsbury Hall on their own that have gone on to other clubs? I mean, it's just madness. So when we talk about too big to go home, it's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. And also, when you look at the numbers here, right? West Ham in 2002, 2003 had 24% of their games. They had clean sheets. Newcastle had 18%. Same with Leicester. Spurs currently have 11% of their games clean sheets. 11, the lowest by a quite considerable way. And our home points per game. The season West Ham went down, they went down with 1.16. Newcastle, incredibly, had exactly the same, 1.16. Leicester had 1. Spurs have got a pathetic, absolutely pathetic 0.71 points per home game. Not good enough. What's keeping us up? Well, not keeping us up, could keep us up, is our away form. West Ham had 1.05. Newcastle in those days, it's carried on at the moment as well, couldn't win a game away from home, 0.63. Leicester, 0.79. But Spurs this season, this is the crux of it. It's that early season away form, 1.46. And when you look at how long he's been out, our top goal scorer this season is Richarlison with 7. I mean, that's just madness, absolute madness. Dean Law, super sticker. Thanks very much, Dean. Choo to you. I really appreciate the super sticker, buddy. I really appreciate all the support you give to Sean and I on and all the other channels. I mean, wow, Sheets as clean as Premier in morning shift. God dear, that's a sick one, Daniel. That is, jeez, God dear. Well, let's have a list. That excellent West Ham team went down because they didn't execute the football basics. It's always about that. It starts with good, quick, accurate passing, tackling, crossing, shooting. As always, they are key. And obviously, Rudolph, mindset, right? Winning mentality. when you're 2-0 up, not losing a 2-0 lead, or when you go 1-0 down or 2-0 down, not dropping your head and losing the game. That's very much part and parcel of it as well. And I don't see any heart. I'll tell you what, I'll leave it here with this. I see a West Ham team that have gone and spent money in the January transfer window with ambition to try and rescue the situation when all seemed lost. Most people have given up on them. The players have turned it around. The players look hungry. They're unbeaten in 7 or 8 games. They're getting great results, and they beat us, right? Late goal, but they beat us nevertheless. I see a Forest team who are fighting. I saw them in that Liverpool game put up a fantastic performance. Did not deserve to lose that game against Liverpool. I saw a Forest team that went to Fenerbahce in that cauldron out in Turkey and smashed them 3-0 on Pereira's first game. I don't see anything at Spurs. I don't see the turnaround. I don't see the heart. I don't see the desire. And what's alarming to me is when I looked at that video yesterday and I saw them running. Those are the exercises that you do pre-season training, not with 11 games to go to try and get your players fit. At what fitness state are we that they're needing to do this? What medical team, who has been monitoring these guys over the last few weeks to leave us in the state that we're in right now? It's an absolute joke. I'm sorry. It's unacceptable. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for your support. Really appreciate it. And if you could hit the like button on your way out. And as I said, if you're here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening on audio, please give us a follow there. And if you're watching later on, please drop a comment in the box. And if you get a chance, you can hype the video. Something I always forget to ask for. Give us a hype the video, helps the channel, and we're on our way. Thanks very much to all of you. Have a great weekend. Hope your team wins. I hope we win. And enjoy your time. Bye for now. Bye.